Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Priyanka Lora, an upcoming software engineer at Microsoft and a final year student at IGD2W. My LinkedIn was filled with messages regarding my Microsoft internship, the eligibility criteria, and the whole process. So I circulated a Google form over my LinkedIn and my YouTube community to collect all the questions. The responses to the form were quite overwhelming. I got a lot of questions. I've tried to combine all those questions and curate a single video for all the questions. But there were a few questions like the eligibility criteria, interview experience for a specific person who's not from CSIT background. So I would suggest that I already have videos regarding these topics on my channel and I'll put their links in the description. So you can just directly jump onto the videos. I do not want to extend this video longer with the repetitive content that I already have on my channel. And also there is a video featuring Mehet Dhamija who made it from mechanical background to software engineer intern at Microsoft. I would be pasting its link in the description. So if you are interested to watch these videos, then you can directly check from the description box. Also, I had few questions regarding non-tech internships at Microsoft, like for management students. So I won't be taking up those questions because I feel that I'm not the right person to answer these questions. My suggestion would be go search over LinkedIn the specific keywords you are looking for and try to ask people over LinkedIn. I'm sure there would be someone who will definitely help you, but without any proper knowledge, I won't be able to help you. So I would be skipping those questions. And also, I'm not doing this alone. I have with me Sameer Gupta, Jaideep, Sharma, and Sumit. They all are upcoming software engineers at Microsoft. And thank you to all these three. They helped me curate this video and to answer all the questions for you. There is this disclaimer that this video is going to be a bit longer. So what I have done, I have divided this video into 4 sections. Section 1 would be for the people who are preparing for internships. Section 2 would be for people who have secured the internship but their joining date is a bit late. So what should they do in the given time period? Section 3 would be during an internship regarding the pre-placement and other stuffs. And section 4 would be miscellaneous. The questions can be put in either of the 3 sections. Now coming to section 1. Section 1 is for people who are preparing for internships. The very first question is, if you would start preparing for this internship from the 4th semester now, how would you prepare from scratch?
So, starting your preparation from 4th semester is a really good time because you get enough time to prepare. You get almost 2 semesters to prepare for your interviews and coding round. So I would recommend that if I was to start from 4th semester, I would start out by clearing my basics of computer science fundamentals, like basically how your language works, how C++ works. If you decide to choose a language, try to learn how the language works under the hood when you are executing the code, or how the compiler of that language works. So I would recommend doing that initially and build yourself from blocks by blocks, because you have plenty of time. So it's good to have good amount of knowledge about how the programming paradigm works. And later on you can start solving basic implementation problems. You can refer to A2OJ ladder that is available for free online. They contain good amount of problems which are easy to solve but require good amount of preparation on implementation. Later on you can either start doing competitive programming, which I would highly recommend, and then later on during the last few months of your preparation you can start solving DSA, or you can keep doing DSA all along. It's up to you.
Next question is, as I am fresher and have no internship experience in any company but I want to crack a company like Microsoft, can you please give some tips for my resume getting shortlisted? Because even after my resume passing the required ATS score, my resume is not getting shortlisted.
I think you need to make sure that you need to understand when a HR is going through resumes, or anybody who goes through a resume, they're going through 1,000 applicants, right, in a day maybe, or like in a week. They don't look at a resume for more than, at least an initial glance, for more than like 5-10 seconds or somewhere along those lines. So they don't have a lot of time to look at each line of your resume. So what I personally did and what I learned from others, from my seniors, was you need to format it in a way that it's very visible, at least the most important points. So make sure you bold stuff within each section that is important, and keep a lot of metrics. That is important. Like, I understand that when it comes to metrics, college projects might not show you a lot, but I feel like metrics, if they are in the resume and people do see them, it creates a good impact. Like, even in my college projects, for example, if I had built an assembler, I put a few metrics just to show how good the assembler was, or how it worked. So numbers are very important there. And I also feel like a lot of people don't check links that they put in their resumes. I've seen this a lot. So I think these small mistakes, because if a person looks at a resume, does something and it doesn't work, they're not going to give you a second chance. That is just how it is. So it's much better to make sure, go through each iteration of your sections, make multiple people look at it before you send it through. And one important thing is, so I feel like you should curate the resume according to the profile that you are trying to apply for. Don't put everything that you've ever done. Don't put things which are unnecessary for that role. Make sure that the resume really points at the skills that are required for that particular position. And while you want to show other skills that you might have, trust me, when the interview happens, at least the last round of the interview, they do want to know who you are as a whole entity, and then you can probably put in those other skills into test. So yeah.
How do referrals work at Microsoft, and is it mandatory to take referrals for off-campus applications?
So how the referral system works is, first, interns don't get to give others referral. That happened a lot while I was interning. People were asking me for referrals, and all I could say was, I can't give you one at the moment. So don't ask interns for referrals. What you could do, if you have a friend as an intern, ask them to put in a word to a senior who can refer you. But for that, those two should have a very good equation, and the senior should trust the junior's word, which is not, it is common, but for an intern who has just entered the internship, I don't think that really happens. But how referrals work essentially is, somebody who is working there, you send them your profile. If you know them, it is good because they have a background on you, they know who you are. But if you don't know each other, I would suggest that you make yourself very, I would say, clear on who you are, right? Because a lot of times when people DM on LinkedIn, they don't DM the right way, and there are a lot of messages telling you how to do cold DMs. So cold DM and cold emailing are important, and there are hundreds of templates online, but please make sure that when you are messaging somebody who you don't know online for a referral or for any request, please make sure that on first glance that person does not find you to have a lack of effort in that message. It's important. Anyhow, how referrals work is, you tell somebody that you want a referral, they agree, they write something good about you on the referral portal. Some companies send you an email once a referral is given. Microsoft, I do believe, sends an email to the candidate that somebody had referred you, and we'll get back to you for the interview or the test, whichever it may be. And yeah, so you get post the screening process, and now you're supposed to either give a small test or more likely just sit for the interviews. So that is how referral process works.
Any tips that you would like to give someone who is preparing for interviews?
There are quite a few I would like to give. So first of all is, do your own research. Get in touch with the seniors who have cleared the specific company interview, and get to know their perspective, what topics they have focused on and what they have done differently, so that they get into it. After that, you should read as many interview experiences on Geeks for Geeks and Interview Bit to get the overall idea or the level of questions that is being asked in the interviews. And just go through the company values, missions and purpose. It's very important. Quite a few people neglect it, but I would say this is very important, and it will help you in the managerial round. So do focus on this. Next, I would say, for interview specific purposes, many people neglect the interview specific topics. there is linked list, binary search tree, and what to say, like stacks and queues. So they neglect it, and it's a blunder, I guess, because the initial rounds of the interview they sort of just brush up on these concepts. So you should go through that. I would say if you have gone through any standard sheet from, for example, Striver, then you are good to go. But just for a safe point, I would say just go through it. One more thing I would like to say is that the project section. So I made this mistake that I was not completely thorough with my project. So you have to be extremely thorough with your project, because they will ask you that how you have implemented it, and if you fumble, then it's a very bad impression that you are giving. And one more thing is that mock interviews. People obviously neglect that. They think that they will on the go give the mock interview there, and there they sort of struggle a lot. So you should be habitual with the interview setting. You should be like able to think out loud, like what you are trying to give the solution. So you should be able to communicate with the interviewer and interact and have a peer one-on-one conversation about the solution. So this is the all aspects so that you can communicate it well. Yeah.
Are there any specific resources, coding platforms, or mock interview platforms or formats you believe are most beneficial for success?
So it's not like there is a very specific resource that you can follow and you will get through it. So there is a very bad impression around that if you solve this sheet or if you go through this and you will get the job or internship. So I would say learning. First of all, learning. You should not fixate about a very good resource, finding the best resource and just sticking with it. So I would say just start anything. Like take one sheet or any sheet that your seniors have followed and just stick with it. After that, once you have gone through that, you will get to know that I am lacking in this area, and then search specific things. Yeah. This is the first aspect that I would highly recommend, that don't fixate on the idea of finding the best resource. This is a very big mistake that people usually make. Next up, for practice purpose, LeetCode, the OG platform. LeetCode is the first, and moving on with the difficulty, I would say CodeChef and AdCoder, they are on the same level, that they both test your implementation skills, how much depth of algorithms that you know. And moving one step further, we have Codeforces. It is like most difficult platform, or I would say the most challenging platform for testing your implementation skills as well as problem solving. So this is the difficulty ladder, I would say, you can follow for the practice section. And last up but not the least, mock interviews. Have a good friend group and you are sorted. Like just take random one-on-one mock interviews with your peers. This will guarantee your success, I would say.
How important are soft skills and what's the best way to demonstrate them during interviews?
So I think in my opinion, like at least in my experience as well, I never learned soft skills just to be able to crack an interview. My target was always something much bigger, which was, if I don't learn soft skills, it's going to be very hard, not just right now, but even when I start working. I feel a lot of soft skills during an interview are, one, be a good listener. That is super important, and I think that is very common also. It's just people skip the common points. When you're listening, you do get answers in your head which you want to give, but you have to wait. Keep them at the back of your head, listen to everything they say, format those answers and then give it. So listening, understanding, speaking is important. You need to understand the right tonality of voice that you are speaking with. You have to emphasize where there is supposed to be emphasization, but that comes with practice. So while it seems, I would say, silly to talk in front of a mirror, I do suggest people do that because it actually genuinely helps. And never worry to say you don't know something. While it seems counterintuitive to tell that, I think right now when it comes to interviews, it has become more important to be truthful about what you are portraying and be about it instead of knowing a lot. I think your posture is very important. Sitting straight and being able to confidently look at the person you're talking to, especially when it's physical interviews. I mean, I gave mine virtually, but when it comes to physical, your body posture is very important. How you sit during an interview is very important. So I think it comes with practice. So even when you're giving mock interviews, make sure that you follow all of those techniques that you kind of find, and you give it properly. So yeah, I think that is what, when it comes to soft skills, would be. And learn to introduce yourself. I think that's very important. People do not know how to introduce themselves a lot of the times, and that is where your interview is starting. So it's a very important point, because then it kind of decides where your interviewer is going to go. And be clear in your speech. I think that is mostly it.
Moving on to next question. What mistakes did you make and would not want anyone else to make the same?
There are different type of mistakes I made. So the first mistake was that I was not well prepared on CS courses. I did prepare for them for the interviews. For example, mostly the computer science courses that are asked in interviews are operating system and object-oriented programming skills. And also along with that, you can go for database management systems and CS fundamentals, like the memory structure of computers and how the programs are executed and all sorts of stuff. I did not give too much time for these courses, which I think should be given. So during the time when you are taught these courses in your college, give ample time to prepare for these and do them with good attitude, not like you are solving them to get good grades or something. Actually give good amount of time to prepare for them. Secondly, I think I should have solved more lead code problems. I did not actually solve too many problems from lead code. My most preparation for DSA was done from interview bit, which had a good programming track for all the DSA topics. My main preparation was through competitive programming, and that too I kind of began a little late. I started my competitive programming in 2023 January, while my coding rounds were scheduled for July 2023. So I only did my preparation for a span of 7 months. I think I should have done a little more, but that's up to you. It's totally up to the person who wants to prepare. I think solving ample coding round problem from lead code discussions or lead code hard medium problems is enough. And third type of mistake I made was I did not apply for enough companies. I think you should, since you have prepared so well, it's definitely good to try your hands with how many companies or how many, how much experience you could get, and aim for as many offers you can get, which I did not do. So I totally relaxed after getting my offer from Microsoft. So yeah, I think this is what my mistakes have been.
Next question is, although this question is in itself not in right essence, but this is right for someone who are asking the question is how much DSA is sufficient. According to me, there is no certain amount that this much DSA is sufficient for this company. For example, if you and your friend are giving interview for the same company on the same day, there is very less probability that you both will get the same question or even the same topic. So how much DSA is sufficient, although the question is very vague, but it is very inherent that at this stage you get this question. But definitely we are going to answer this.
There is a very simple answer. So that suppose there is a candidate A who has done 800 problems and there is candidate B who has done 200 problems. But in most cases you will think that 800 problem he has solved, so he must be more knowledgeable. But that's not the thing actually with DSA. With DSA is that quality matters. Suppose he has done 200 problems itself, but the quality of problems he has done completely covers all the paradigms of the DSA aspect, that he knows the pattern. So if you have sufficiently covered all the patterns, then it's very good to go. You are in a good position. The number of questions is completely irrelevant, I guess. Next up, for the sufficiency aspect, suppose there are two divergent aspects here. So first of all is that if you are targeting for really challenging companies like Google, DSA, Sprinkler. So they ask a lot of challenging questions in their interview aspect. So you have to get your hand dirty and start doing competitive programming, and you have to be really good in that. Next up, if you are targeting some other product based companies, then you should, if you are sticking with a particular sheet or uh, any resource that you are following and you are thorough with your understanding of the patterns and all, then you are very good to go, that you will be able to clear it. Next up, a very important crucial tip that I received from my mentor was from Vivek Gupta sir. He said that if you are able to solve 4 problems of lead code contest, like during the contest, then you are good to go to clear any online assessment. So that is a very checkpoint you can consider.
Now moving towards section 2, you have secured the internship and now you have a certain time period, 4 to 6 months or 6 to 8 months before joining of your internship, and you are quite curious and energetic what tech stacks you should learn, what tech stacks does the company uses, what do interns get to work on. So this section would be revolving around all this. The first question is, I have done simple file assignments in college in Python. I haven't done anything related to web development or app development. I'm worried about how to code during the internship, which involves the interplay of several languages and tools.
Okay, so I'll break it down into points. First point is you don't know what you're going to work on. Right? This is something that I had a problem with. It doesn't happen. You can't predict what you're going to work on. While that is the first thing, I would also say don't lag behind. Like, it's good to have 2 things. One, focus now on something that you have been willing to do for a while. When you're preparing for something like this, it takes a toll on your time, on your energy, on your, I would say, passion, right? Or whatever you want to do, a hobby maybe. It takes a toll. So I think you should take the first few months after you secure the internship to just yourself, to getting back to your normal routine, to your normal life. But if you do want to, continue learning something, I feel like you have to try a lot of things. So if there are 3 fields, if you want to do app dev, if you want to do web dev, if you want to do ML, I think you should try all 3 fields, but give them enough time. Like, I think this is important. You can't quit something very early on and say that you never liked it. You have to give it enough time, you have to give it enough effort to realize if you really like it or not. So I would say try each of those, give them enough time, try to work on some projects. And I find people telling me that they can't find good projects, and I would say as long as you can learn how to Google, I think there are abundance of places that you can find good projects. GitHub is one, Reddit is another. I usually go for GitHub, and I'd say get ready to read a lot of documentations, not just while you're in your college, but otherwise itself. I have spent countless hours learning Microsoft documentations on my internship, and that is going to be very, very important. So learn how to read and understand documentations. And yeah, my entire, this gyan would consolidate into try things, try whatever field you think you might be interested in, give it enough time, and then see if you want to continue doing it. If you want to continue doing it, try to be the best in that. And you can't forecast what you will be doing during an internship. Once you get your team, probably yes, but that takes a while. For my own self, I got to know about Azure networks where I was probably like a month before I had to join. So you can't predict it. That I think consolidates. And obviously hobbies and whatever you have stopped doing for a while just because you were preparing, I think continue doing that. It keeps yourself happy and makes it seem all worth it. Yeah.
Are there any specific tools or languages that we should learn before joining? Are there any prerequisites, and what tech stacks do interns get to work upon?
Okay, before joining, try to master any of the language of your choice. If you like C++, try to know different parts of the language, different aspects of this, because every other language has a same underlying principle as any other language, and they just sort of rename the different concepts. For example, in C++, when you import a library, it's imported by include, while in Python it's done via import. So if you know the different concepts of a particular language, then it will not be hard to transfer your knowledge to other language. So do that. Also, different interns get different teams, and different within the different same team you can also get different type of project. Like maybe you are getting a backend project, or somebody else is getting a front end project, or you are getting some systems programming code, or maybe you're getting a machine learning project. So it's totally up to the team. So you can get some basic idea about different type of technologies depending upon the team you're joining.
How do we quicken up the learning process of a new tech stack during an internship? And how helpful is GitHub Copilot during coding?
So if you are completely beginner, like I was not familiar with deep learning aspect. So suppose you are completely beginner like me. So initially 1 or 2 weeks you have to understand the fundamentals of the tech stack that you will be working on, and simultaneously you should be digging into the code base. Then once you are able to know the fundamentals, just start. Just don't fixate on the idea that you will be learning entirely and then starting. So in 1 or 2 weeks you have a decent understanding of the project, what is expected from you, then just start it. And eventually you will be facing some friction. Like you are bound to face some friction, but after 1 or 2 weeks of doing tweaking something from your own, getting in touch with your mentor and getting some insights from him, you will be good to go. I mean, like after fourth week you will be not facing any friction about the tech stack, or eventually you will see some progress. And you should after the fourth week you should like progress vigorously. And for example, if you are a pro, I mean you have worked on that tech stack before, then I would say just start it. Don't think about anything. Try to give 1 or 2 meaningful contribution in the initial weeks. That will really boost your chances. So that is it. So one more thing, GitHub Copilot you mentioned. So for GitHub Copilot, I would say AI is a leverage, but you should use it consciously. You should not be someone who is writing the entire code from the chat GPT and copy pasting it. You should not be like that. I mean, that's not the thing you are being hired for. You should be cautious enough and think about it, the solution. Try to write at least something from yourself, from your end. Otherwise, the internship will be irrelevant if you are just copy pasting from GitHub Copilot. It should be assisting you, not the other way around. Yeah.
Moving on to next question. What did you do in time after you cracked the internship?
So I cracked my internship in July 2023, and I had a complete year before I had to join Microsoft. So during that time, I focused on going on different trips. I spent enough time with my friends, and I watched different series I was waiting for to watch after this thing ended. I had some targets to achieve in terms of career. Like I wanted to, sort of reach candidate master by December, but those plans dropped out because I got really relaxed. So yeah, I did not do too much programming after that, but I was in swing with them. Also, I took up a really interesting project. I talked with startups who were working on cool projects, so I also spent time with them. And yeah, I think that's mostly it.
Now moving towards section 3, that is during the internship. For most of the companies, the duration of summer internship is around 8 to 12 weeks, which is roughly around 2 to 3 months. So in this, the questions would be like, how should you be working in the environment? Like you are just a college student and now you will be getting experience of the corporate world, and you would be getting into so much new things, so many meetings, so much new stuff to learn, and just a compact time period of 8 to 12 weeks. So the very first question is, I feel hesitant to ask doubts to others, fearing that they will get annoyed or they feel that I am not self-reliant and not Googling enough. Can you please give me some tips?
No, I feel like, at least in my opinion as well, what I faced when I was doing the internship, there were a lot of times where you just don't know what's going on, because somebody might have built the code base before you and you can't figure out how or why they did something. I think it's important to spend time yourself before you head on over to a teammate to ask them, because they're seniors, they expect you to have put in effort yourself. I think one very important thing is write everything down. Like, write everything down that you do during the internship. It will not just help you at that point, but when you at the end of the internship do the presentation or sit with your manager to look back at your internship, you have every record of everything you tried and you did, right? And they will ask you to do a knowledge transfer. Knowledge transfer is where you put down information for the next person who comes on board to read it, understand it, get accustomed to the project, and then continue. So even during that time, it'll be important for you to track everything that you've done. And I think they appreciate when you come to them with everything that you've tried and what may not have worked. Because a lot of times if you don't try it, they'll tell you the same thing and you may not remember that you've already done it, and you go back and spend more time doing the same thing after you realize that, oh, I've already tried this and this is the result. So I would say track everything. I don't think they feel bad about you going to ask them. I was very glad with the team I had, with the people I was working with. They were very supportive in answering, but they did expect me to try a few things before I came to them. And I realized after 2-3 rounds of going to them that I should go with a notebook, write everything down that they tell me, be very clear if I had any doubts. So if they did advise me something, I had at some point built the confidence to make sure I understood everything they asked me and wanted me to try. And if I tried something, I would tell them that this is what I tried, this is why it didn't work. I think it's more about just showing them the effort that you've made instead of going to them as soon as you find a problem and you can't solve it right out of the bat. So do the Google, do whatever research you have to do a few trial and errors, write them down, and then go to them, explain to them what you've tried, why it didn't work, and then ask them what they would suggest, and write whatever they suggest. Yeah.
How to secure a PPO. PPO is pre-placement offer, and how PPO process works. This is one of the most asked questions. Out of all the questions I received, every 5th question was regarding PPO.
I can expect the anxiety that you face, that PPO is a very big thing. So I was in your shoes in that time. So there was basically, I would talk about the process first, then give some insights about how you can secure that PPO. First of all was the process itself. So we had 3 checkpoints that we used to call it connect meetings. It was sort of one-on-one meetings with your mentor or manager. And during that connect, the first connect was called the core priority connect. It was at the end of the first week itself that we have to fill our core priorities. So mostly your manager will give you the core priorities. So the core priorities, there will be the mentioned what are the project aspects that you have to achieve at the end of the internship, the goal sort of. So this will be your core priorities, and in the end of 4th week, that will be your mid connect. In that also they will discuss your impact that you have made in that core priorities. So this will be the mid connect, and the last connect that you will be having in the end of your internship, that is during the 8th week, I guess. Yeah. So that also you will be discussing the impact and how far the progress that you have made. After that, the most crucial aspect is the project presentation. So for presentation, you will be having a 30-minute project presentation, and all of the teammates of your organization as well as sister organization will be attending it. So it's a very big thing. So you have to nail that presentation and prepare it very thoroughly. It will be only for 30 minutes. So you have to practice and give some mock presentation with your team, and it's a very big thing. Next up is based on that feedback of your presentation, also the feedback from your mentor and manager, they will be giving you either a no hire, good hire, and some sort of weak hire. So this is the 3 category that specific to Microsoft, that they give you 3 categories. If you receive the no hire, then you will not be getting the return offer. And this time they have introduced that if you are a weak hire, you will be having 2 interviews, and if you are a strong hire, you will be having 1 interviews. For most of them, we had 1 interview, like we were strong hires, but some of my colleagues also, the other interns, they receive weak hires, so they have to give 2 interviews. So this was the process of the PPO, and the most sought after answer, that how to receive this PPO. So from personal experience, I would say you should not, for the initial 4 weeks, you should not be thinking about PPO itself, because you are very new to the environment, and thinking about the PPO will give you sort of anxiety, and you will not be able to perform to that level. So for the initial 4 weeks, be focusing on PPO. You should be focusing on learning the tech stack and how to interact with your mentor, and build some sort of connection and all, and get to know the company environment, culture, and experience it first of all. And once you have your mid connect, and then you will be having a one-on-one conversation with your mentor, and then you will get to know the how far progress you have made. I mean, it will be like you will get an insight about what you have done and what is expected from you. So after getting the progress track, you will be in two situations. Suppose you are completely lagging behind, like you didn't achieve any of the core priorities, or sort of you are very far behind. Then you have to amp up, like you have to give your heart and soul to it, and put some very much extra efforts. And in the second scenario, I mean, you did some good progress, and you received positive feedback from your mentor as well as manager. Then you are obviously on the right track, and just keep putting the efforts consistent, and you will receive the feedback. That's the only process. I mean, there is no some secret sauce that you expect. It's just you, and put in the effort consistently, and you will bag the PPO. That is not a big thing.
What should we prepare for the interview that will be taken after the 2 months of internship period, and what all rounds will it include?
So that changes every once in a while. In our case, there was an interview and a presentation. The interview was mandatory. There were 1 or 2 rounds depending upon your manager's feedback and your team's feedback on your entire duration of the internship. Sometimes before us, I think they only took a presentation. So it changes. You can't predict it. You'll only get to know once it starts. How many rounds? Again, that depends. In our case, we were told that if your manager says that you're a strong hire, they would take, I think, 1 round compulsorily. If your manager says that you are capable, then they would take 2 rounds, and that would depend. It depends on a lot of things. How you should prepare for the presentation or the interview, I feel like, one, you have to make sure that you understand what you've done. Do not speak about things that weren't your part, because if the interviewer goes there, you have nothing to say. So please make sure that you very clearly define what you did during the internship. A lot of your interview and your presentation is just about what you worked on. Other than that, I think they ask a few basic DSA questions. If you have done your DSA preparation well, I don't think it takes a very long time to just quickly revise a few things. They are not very hard questions, just to make sure. So if you've done your preparation well, don't worry about it. You will be able to revise them in the last 3-4 days after your presentation. Yeah.
How to balance internship and placement preparation simultaneously? This question arises because pre-placement offer depends upon so many factors: the business requirements, your performance, the feedback your team gave regarding you, and the final interview feedback. So there is no confirmation about PPO. So you have to prepare for DSA, coding stuff, and other placement activities side by side along with your internship.
Okay. I think don't lose your, I would say, consistency and the motivation to do DSA and prepare. So even while you're on your internship, you have to make time, even if it's during weekends, to continue to study for your placements. Nothing is ever defined. You may or may not get the PPO. So you have to make sure that you have the chance to sit for placements and do well in them in case you don't. I would say spend weekends, spend off days, spend after office hours to at least maintain consistency in DSA and maintain that confidence that you gained pre your internship. You don't have to do it as rigorously as you did before, but you have to make sure that you continue to do it. I think that is the most important thing.
What were some of the things you loved the most about your internship? Was it work, the people, or something else that made the experience special?
Okay, so the best part about my internship was me getting out of my comfort zone, setting myself up in a completely new city, staying there for 2 months, booking my flights all by myself, seeing what kind of food I'm eating, what kind of people I'm socializing with, and overall experience was so nice that I would not miss it for the whole world. So this was the main part of my internship. And there were also the things like we were hanging out, in Yulu bikes after work hours, taking a tour of the tech park, and going around sightseeing in different parts of the city, like Church Street in Bangalore and Kormangla and Botanical Park, going to Hoginakal Dam and Hoginakal Falls, and all these parts just made it just amazing. Also, the company was really cool. We had free access to food and Coke cans, so I would steal 2-3 cans every single day, and we would drink, and sometimes we would do a movie night in the conference hall itself, which I don't think we were supposed to do, but yeah, we just did anything you can imagine kids to do when they are set loose in a corporate office. So yeah, that was really fun. We were basically kids. We were treated as kids, in contrast to how you are expected to be treated as a FT. So it's an amazing experience as an intern.
Now moving to the final section, that is miscellaneous questions. I could not find any specific category for them. They can put into all the 3 categories or neither of them. So the first question is, how do you adjust to the work environment and its unspoken rules?
Unspoken rules. Okay, so I kind of have a controversial opinion about this. People say that in general ask you to not engage with your office teammates too much, and then don't share them your personal life and everything. But what I kind of sort of do not agree with them is that you spend at least 2/3 or 1/3 of your day with these guys, and also 1/3 of your entire life with these guys, and you're not being expected to share your personal stuff with them. So, but that being said, try to avoid talking personal stuff about yours to your office teammates that could be used against you, and don't get too much comfortable with your teammates in your early time during your career. Focus on working good and delivering your best, and not getting too worked out as well, because at times it might occur to you that you have been putting too much effort but not getting the credit for it. Like during my internship time, I overworked myself during the last few weeks of the internship and kind of almost gave up and told my mentor I'm not gonna complete the project because it's too stressful. That's when that kind of is important, because I communicated myself to my mentor. So this you should also keep in mind. Try to communicate your problems to your mentor, whoever is assigned to you, and they are very understandable as well. He understood what problems I was facing, and he relaxed my project a bit after that. So yeah, these are the unspoken rule, and adjusting will be fine. You will be able to adjust to this. These are just kind of questions you face before you are in that environment, but as soon as you are in the environment, you will be a fast learner. So yeah.
What skills did you find the most important during your internship, both soft skills and technical skills?
I would give bullet points for this. First of all, managing your time. This is the most crucial thing. You have limited time. So managing your time efficiently is one of the most important things. Internship is a very short period of time, that is 8 weeks. And for 8 weeks, you have to show the credibility and make them realize that, you have the potential to join their team and contribute to their growth. Next up, the learning aspect. You should have that. I mean, you can't just stagnate yourself with one tech stack. So you should be having that learning aspect, learning new concepts and ideas and implementing them on the go. Like you cannot just learn them and not implement them. You should have that skills to implement them. Then third, but I would say for third, I would say leveraging AI skills. I mean, hats off to Chat GPT. I mean, you have to use it nowadays. If you are not using, then it will push you back. That's the thing. Then fourth, I would say, yeah, documentation. So this is one of the most underrated thing that people neglect documentation that they just focus on coding and being agile. But I would say give some time for documentation itself, that it will be helpful that also in your internship and well as in your FTs. I mean, after that, I would say regularly updating your mentor or manager. I mean, this was the game changer aspect for me. I mean, I was tracking my progress daily, like what did I do today, what aspect of the project I worked on today, and at the end of the week, I used to update my manager and mentor both, that yeah, for this week I had contributed this things on the daily aspect. Last but not the least, taking breaks. You should not just focus on your internship. You are there to enjoy the internship also. You should not. I mean, there were people who fixated on their project and didn't explore much. There is a lot of things that you can explore. Talk to new people, play, enjoy the games. Like abundant. I mean, I would say take a chill pill.
The last question for this video: how did you navigate those moments when you did not know what was going to happen next and it felt like giving up?
So, in the first half of my internship period, I was writing lots of codes, lots of lines of codes. We were getting lots of reviews, and was really happy time. And just like any other movie, the intermission came, and then the climax started to rise. So I started having difficulties in completing complex tasks, and then there came a time when I was supposed to provide the first prototype of my project to my manager during the second iteration of my review. There are multiple iterations of reviews with the manager, for your information, during your internship at Microsoft. So during my second iteration, I was supposed to give the prototype. So my prototype was half ready, but what's worse is I didn't know exactly what the prototype was supposed to do, or my basics about the problem was not clear. So the main problem I was having was not being able to explain my project to my manager. So he kind of grilled me really hard on that, and I was sort of scolded by him. So I almost cried in front of him. That very day, it was the most lowest I had ever felt. And right after the meeting with my manager, I was supposed to meet up with my mentor. So he kind of sensed what might have happened, and he asked me whatever had happened or whatever it was. So just after that, I explained to him how I was feeling or what the problem was, and he gave a 2-hour conversation. He did a 2-hour conversation with me after that and explained the problem with me. So this highlights the good thing about communication, that whatever problem you're feeling, be happy to be involved with the team and explain your problems to them. Also, try jotting down whatever work you're doing during your day. Keep a normal diary. Keep a diary. I had one diary. I used to steal these diaries from the office table, and would write whatever I was doing during my day. And at the end of the day, I would know what all I did. So looking back at the time, I sort of did a lot. I didn't realize this until I had sort of wrote these transcripts. So do that, and it helps you out a lot. So whenever you do not know what's gonna happen, just seek help. Ask people and be totally relaxed. It's totally fine. Everybody feels the same. Yeah.
Alright, that's it for today's video. I hope I was able to answer all your questions. But still, if you have any other question in your mind, feel free to drop that in the comment section. And a special thanks to Sameer Gupta, Sumit and Jaideep Sharma for taking out time and helping me put all this together and answer all your questions. Thank you guys. Also, I have a few important things that I wanted to share. That when I was in first or second year, I used to message a lot of people on LinkedIn, and only few of them replied back. Uh, I used to think that they're not replying, they've seen my message, but that's not the case. Those people are genuinely busy. They're not ignoring you, because when you enter the corporate world, there is a lot that is going on, and the life is genuinely so busy that they do not get time to reply everyone. So do not feel demotivated or angry about that. It's not their fault, neither it's yours. So just try to message as many people as possible. Then there would be someone who will get time and reply back to you, and there would be definitely someone who will help you. But do not feel sad about this, that people are not replying, they are not giving referrals. Just try to approach a lot of people and don't disturb again and again. If someone is not replying, just do not go and message them every 5 days or every other 7 days. Just try to approach some other person through your friends, through your seniors. There would be definitely there would be someone who will help you. And I hope this was a message that was to be given by a lot of friends of mine. So I wanted to share this through the video. And also, if you found this video helpful, then do like and share this video to people who you think might be needing these answers. And thank you for watching this video, and all the best for your journey, and all the best for your internship. And if you are still preparing for internship, all the best. You are going to make it and you are going to rock it. Take care. Bye bye.